very video of President Bola Tinubu has been trending with the speed of light, where the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in a summit which was organized by the BRICS in Brazil, and of course, which was hosted by the President of Brazil. In that very video clip, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria was simply calling for the re-evaluation of global governance, financial structures, healthcare system, calling for a more fairer, inclusive world order that will put into consideration the overall interest of emerging and low-income nations like Africa, and of course, countries like Nigeria and every other countries in Africa. It was an eyesore, and very unfortunately, that while President Bola Tinubu was speaking, there were two other nation leaders who were sitting right behind President Bola Tinubu, who, as a matter of fact, removed their earphones and focused their attention on their mobile devices. Many have described these very actions of these two world leaders or nation leaders as not being fair to President Bola Tinubu. Why some claimed that what President Bola Tinubu was saying created or impacted no meaning to these very two nation leaders. Well, I will allow you to watch that video before we get into a little more details.
Nigeria, therefore, associates with what I've heard here today and what has been taking place in BRICS. The next financial restructuring, body, and re-evaluation of the global system. Nigeria therefore called on BRICS to lead a new path of justice anchored on fairness, sustainable technology, transfer, and accessible financing, such that emerging economies can fully benefit from the various initiatives in this field. The African continent is creating the path through the African carbon.
Seriously, I am personally trying to figure out, what prompted the actions of those other two world leaders. I don't know the countries where they come from, Is it because Alhaji Bola Tinubu was warning that, global challenges like environmental degradation, climate change, and healthcare inequality, continue to be a stumbling block towards having a sustainable development across Africa? I don't know. A lot of people are speculating, or rather saying, that Bola Tinubu was not making sense, politicians and their rhetorics. I was listening to a TED Talk recently where the man, I've forgotten his name, a very popular guy, where he said the reasons why, society doesn't pay attention to warnings about climate change, environmental degradation, is because of how politicians and how some experts communicate the information. That somebody will just come on television and tell you, the environment, the ozone layer is being depleted. The moment we have a carbon monoxide in the atmosphere, that the ozone layer, this graph shows that. He said, at the end of the day, the information is not communicated. So possibly, the too much rhetoric, too much grammar where Alhaji Bola Tinubu they don't write when in the present, probably it wasn't making a lot of sense to this man, or maybe it was becoming boring. But their character, the action they displayed is not entirely, what emulating. You know what I mean? I don't know what may be their problem, whether they did that intentionally, or whether it was because Bola Tinubu's speech was not making sense to them, or whether there was something else that they needed to do. I cannot tell, but it is quite unfortunate. And another flip of the coin is this. I don't know whether to call this a bad luck for Nigeria as a nation, because Nigeria just became the 9th joint partner of BRICS. Just January this year, I think on the 17th or 18th of January 2025. That was when, Nigeria was admitted into the BRICS. Joining other countries like Cuba, Bolivia, Uganda, Brazil, and the rest of them, and Malaysia as well. Why I said whether this is a bad luck for Nigeria is because Donald Trump, has just publicly announced previously that all the countries under BRICS that is making anti-American policies, maintaining that he will summer those countries with another 10% tariff, Nigeria inclusive. And what does that mean? It means that anybody who is exporting anything to United States of America, if you have been paying export tariff of 20%, now you're going to be paying 30%. I don't know, but whatever may be the case, I sincerely hope that, we as a people, we come together. We have a lot of intelligent people in Nigeria, well-educated, vibrant young persons that can actually be respected. Assuming these people are not respecting our president, I don't know. Personally, I felt bad, for their actions, because we are talking about the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You know what I mean? And this also reminds me or takes me into talking about why we as a nation need to start looking at electing younger people into position of offices. Younger people who will be readily internationally acceptable, introduce other style of communicating, their speeches in a more lively manner, such that it doesn't bore, the audience, at any time. But anyways, I sincerely hope that those, nation leaders, retrace their steps, because we are talking about the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the giant of Africa. So at this point, we will not stop talking. But don't forget to let me know what you think in the comment section, and share this video. Man, another person see. God bless you.